Yeah. So where are we? Where are we trying to? Someone was saying something. I think it was Emmanuel that was saying something. Was it talking
No?
about? Okay. Was it
Okay, yes,
Ayoba?
I said my battery is about to go off again.
Okay. So try and prepare your phone. There's no
Yes.
light, right?
Yes, there's no light.
It is well. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Ernie made us to change these values. So we're trying to see what difference is this, because the other time I told us that this is just representing the width and the column. You know, is that what I said?
Yes.
We run when we run it. I think that was a bit different. Yeah, it looking like the normal thing that we had before. Okay, come, let me reduce this first one to 2. The first one, when I reduce to 2, kind of, so like I said, this is width and height. So this first one is width by the height. So let's see. Let me take.
Sorry, I think I have an explanation for it.
Okay, please help us. Go on.
You know, the fig is actually, I think that's a white background.
Okay, yeah,
The fig.
yeah.
I think that's a white background. Then the subplot is the plot that is inside the fig. Because what we have is fig dot add subplots. So it's the subplot, that's this the
New frequency plots.
yes.
Then it fix.
So
The
that's
big
why
one
when
itself is
we reduce the fig to 2
okay.
and 5, it shrank everything inside
Yeah.
the
So it didn't.
yes. But when we were reducing the subplot, the white background was not really changing. The white background was not changing. It's just the blue whatever that was changing.
Okay.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah. So it's the height reduced. Yeah, and in a way it actually compressed this one too.
Yes.
Okay. So let's move on. Okay, where were we? I think the other ones are explanatory. This is setting the label for x-axis, which is what we have here, creates history. The next one is setting the label for y-axis, y set. The next one is setting the title. You understand?
Yes.
So these ones are really self-explanatory. And then this is where the real thing gets plotted. So temp1, then dot plot, then the kind of plot is what is specified there. I believe there are other kinds. I don't know. I'm not sure if this will be right, but let's see if this is also applicable. Yeah. Can we see it?
Yes.
So which other type of plotting do we have? We have pie charts. We have all those ones. So when I change that to pie, it's changed. So the last one I want us to do with in the few minutes that remains is what I call data wrangling. Now, when we explored our data, because that was the first thing we did. When we explored our data the other time, we noticed some things, something like missing. I showed us that there were missing values, right? But then
Yes.
we didn't really know the details. I have to be scrolling through, but there is a way you can specifically know if there is missing value or not. So this is, we use this method coming. Yeah. So apply into bracket lambda x then sum x then is no then to bracket then comma.
Oh,
Let me just store it somewhere. It's running, but then there's no I want to visualize it. So let me call it miss. I will explain the code to us too. Let's see the output. Can we all see this? So what exactly did it print for us?
Are these the missing items?
Yes.
As in the columns that have missing items?
Yes. So it's bringing all columns. So those ones where you see 0 is where there are no missing items. Wherever you see anything greater than 0, there are missing items there. So it's just specifying the number of missing items per column. So this can be an issue. Reason being, like I think I've explained something about missing items earlier. So this must be addressed. There must be a way where we must fill in this value. Now, there are different ways you can actually address missing items. You can choose to remove that record that has the missing item entirely, delete the record. But there are cases where those records are also important to the result you are trying to get. So you know that is not a choice. Just like if it is a bank record they've given to you, you don't just delete things from bank record, right? So you can't make such a decision there. So you have to look for a better way to kind of fill those columns with values. How do you fill with value? There are different ways. You can actually fill these columns with, you can get the mean of all the values in that column. So let me open this. Where is this data set? I think this is it. So which one did I remember that has, oh, okay, Emmanuel's battery went off. All right. So like this amount, that's missing values. That's missing values. So one way to undo this is to get the mean or the mode of this entire column of the values that are there, and then use that to determine, to now fill other spaces that are empty there. You can see. So that by that way, you are trying to say where the real value that's supposed to be here should be somewhere around the mean or the mode of every other value that exists there. So however we choose to fill in that one. So that's one way. You can remove the record.
So you put for all the missing ones, if they use their 10, you'll put one value?
Yes. What I'm saying is you don't just supply any value, because if I put 128 here, you understand, I may be judging wrong. But if you put the mean value, now the concept of mean is going to judge it based on the distribution or the entire the column. So it's just going to kind of deduce some kind of pattern around it. Okay, people are supplying this, they're supplying this. So with the kind of values it has, the mean of it, you can use mean to judge the participation of each item or each data point in a data set. So if you use mean now, I put the mean of this entire column. That's what I'm saying. It's like taking your calculator. Then okay.
How about if you do the mean like this? The first one is from urban, then let's say the other one is from rural or semi. So you do the mean for these urbans, and then you fill in for the urbans, and then the rural areas, you also do the same. Can that work?
Yeah, but that would be it's you can get data imbalance there, because at the end of the day, by the time you scroll, you don't even know if this urban does not really is not really well correlated with known amounts. You understand? So it's like saying you taking the mean
I
for
see.
all the ones
Okay.
that have female, and then take the mean for all the ones that have male. At the end of the day,
Correct.
you might not be distributing this whatever the value well. So let me see if I can get a real life scenario for filling in with me now. Just like saying there are 20 people that are expected in a meeting, and then by the time they were coming into the meeting, all they said was people, 20 people. Then by the time they came into the meeting, someone came in to inspect. They saw 15 people or 18 people. There are two persons left. But in the midst of the 18 people they saw, they were able to realize, to deduce the nature of persons that are there. They saw that all of them were male, and then most of them were either tall or the average height. So by the time they want to do a meeting report, and then they will say all the people that came are male, and then they are of average height. So they use the age range, the height, or the gender of those ones that the multitude that have come, to now determine the two that didn't come, that we are expecting. There is every possibility that the next two people that will turn up, they will also be adults, they will be male, and they will be of average or medium height. So something like that is what we are trying to do here. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah, so where were we before I came in? So it's all the missing. Okay, we were saying something. Yeah, it brought out all the missing value. We see that on credit history, we have 50. This we have 14. Reason why we can't delete. If we remove this entire 50 record, we will be doing a lot of damage and stuff like that. So that said, what is this code doing? Now, what this code is doing, this is the working of this code is going to, what lambda is generally is just, lambda is just a function. You understand? The way we write function, we've talked about function, but lambda is just like a summarized way of writing function, like a shorter form. So it's a function on a single line. You understand? So all this we wrote is a function, but it's on a single line, and it doesn't really take name. Oh, Elizabeth is here. So it doesn't really take name. Just like in the other functions that we declare, we do def, then we put the name of the function. A lambda function does not take name. It's on a single line, and it obviously can have number of arguments. But one thing is, there's only one expression that can exist there. So can anybody pick the expression in this function? What expression is in this function? I think we know the concept of expressions. Okay, so the expression here is just our, what's it called? Num dot axis. That's enough. No, x dot is null. So this is the condition it's trying to check. When I say expression, I'm asking what condition is it trying to work based is whatever judgment on. So this is the one it uses. So it's saying check through x. Now our x is our data frame or whatever column that we are accessing per time, and see for each column, for each data frame, it goes through, it uses x to iterate through. When we write our for loop, we write something like for I in So this X is represent each of the item in this data frame. So for each of the item, it will go to that column and then it will check if it is known. You understand? It will check if it is known, null rather.
Yes.
Yeah. And then this sum is what returns the number of null that it was able to count. So this one goes and check, is there no, is there no, is there no on each data type for each column. So by the time it checks, then it's going to sum up the values it got. And that was how it arrived at, there's that result, means that was how it arrived at being able to sum up 32 for this 0. When it was checking, is it null, is it null, is it null? For this education, it found none that was null, so it returned 0. So that's how this X dot is null. I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm trying to fix something. Yeah, so sorry, I was trying to do something. So where are we?
I think you're explaining the is null expression, the expression in this lambda function.
Okay, so we get it. We get what is doing, right? Do we not
Yes,
get what is
yes,
doing? So it's just kind of
yeah.
conditional
But is this axis
statement.
equals to 0 that you've not talked about?
Okay. Now what the axis is doing is, now it can actually take different values. But let me see. Let me see if I see any difference there. Okay. Okay, so what this axis does is it controls it. You are specifying to it that what aspect of the data frame are you, what's it called, are you trying to target? Like the first one that we printed, the first maze that we printed, realize that it just picked each, what's it called, each column and then counted what was there. So it made its judgment based on column. For this one, it make its judgment based on the rows.
Based on one row.
On the rows. So one is at, we can see all we have here is 614 rows, right, in this data set.
Yes.
So it takes
Yes.
each row and now tell us the number and now give us a value of either 0 or 1 to tell if there is missing value there. So in row 0 is telling us there is missing value, which is 1, and then on and on like that. So it's dealing with them based on a data point level, based on the data point, based on the rows, based on the entry. So that's what that is doing. So if what whatever interpretation you want to make, if what works for you is to check it based on column level or on row level, I think I would prefer the column level because it really kind of summarizes and then depicts what I want to achieve. So I'm able to easily see that the total of 32 is on self column. So I don't care which data points this represents or which rows it represents. All I want to see is how many are in this column. So that's what that axis is doing. It's just specifying, is it a row or a column? So are we clear? I think it was Ayobami that asked the question of me. Was I just explaining?
Yes, it was me. Ayobami, thank you.
Okay. Now, so we're talking about data wrangling and how to handle missing data. And all. So we found out that there are missing data here. You understand? So I've told us that
Yes.
our data set, our choice would be to actually fill this data. So I want to fill it with either of, you can choose to fill it with the mean value or the mode value. And I think generally easy math or start now. Mean should be the what's mean? Everything divided by n, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then mode should be the highest occurrence, like the one that occurred,
Occurrence.
right? So depending on how you choose to judge your own case, maybe your perception is from the angle that any took us through the other time, that what if it is this and then what if it is that. So it depends on how you perceive that the other missing value should be supplied or should be filled in. That's what you're going to do. So how do we do that? So I will say I will access the column that I want to address. I've typed those columns. Gender, I can see gender has missing value. Dependents have missing value. So for each of those rows that have missing value, I'm going to do what? I'm going to fill them with each of those columns rather. So I'm going to fill them with something. So the function that is used is this fill nav. So fill it with what? So I'm saying fill it with gender dot mean. So fill it with the mean value of this. Do we get it?
Okay.
Fill it with the mean value of that. Yeah, in place is equal to true. What this in place is doing for us is saying, okay, whatever it is you want to replace it. So our data frame will automatically be updated, but then it's not going to kind of return a value. You understand? So I'm not trying to print something out. I'm not trying to see result, but then update the data set with whatever it is that we are supplying or we're asking to update it with. So it will calculate this and then return the value for us. So let's see what this output can only concatenate string, not in to SQL. Coming. Okay. I think I'm making a mistake there. So what kind of data type is our what's it called? Our gender. I think our gender is not a numeric data type.
Categorical. But it's 1 and 0.
It wasn't 1 and 0.
No, I think is it Boolean?
I think it's actually male and female. So it's still in, when we check data type the right time, where is that type? Where is the variable that displays type? So part of object value, all those strings and every other thing that is not number is inside this object. So it's actually an object value. So that's why it brought it for us that it cannot concatenate string and integer. So what is expecting, the values are expecting, how do I want to get me of male and female, male and
But
female?
sorry, are you typing anything on the screen? I'm not seeing anything changing.
Yes, nothing is changing on my end too. I was just about restarting it.
What's the last thing that you see? What's the last
We
thing?
just have this MIS, this Miss series.
Wow. I've been typing since. Like,
You're not seeing anything.
I've not seen anything.
is it from my end for all of you not to be seeing it? You didn't see the part where the code I wrote that was explaining the one of fill in and then in place.
No, you didn't see that.
No,
I saw
no.
DF, the data frame, and then open square brackets with two
Gender.
apostrophes. No gender.
Wow. Okay, that means should I stop it and then reconnect? Because I don't know why you guys are not seeing it. But you are seeing. Okay, let me just reshare. Let me reshare.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see it now?
No.
Let's
Still
go.
the same thing.
No, I'm coming. How about now?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't notice actually. So this is what as I was typing it, I was explaining. So I thought you guys were actually following and seeing it. So where were we? So I was trying to check we checked the data type for this and realized that it's not a number type. So there is no how you want to get me of something that is not number. Do you understand?
Yes.
So that was this error it brought. So one thing is, by the time we want to do our analysis tomorrow, this will go up in 10 minutes. So, but then let me explain this. By the time we want to do our analysis tomorrow on the using the machine learning techniques to create model for our data set after we have cleaned it today, we will see that we need all these values. Mostly, the screen library does not operate on values like this object. So we have to convert all our data sets to numeric. Do we understand? So we have to convert everything.
Yes.
We have to convert everything to numeric before we can use it for that purpose. But for now, let me change this to one that is numeric because of our time. So let me use loan amount, and let me be sure that it actually has missing values before I do that. Means loan amount. Okay, yeah, it does.
Yes, 22 missing values.
So let's use that. Is that how it was written? Is it family facing?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. So this works. So let's check. So let's reprint this because if I still check it, it will still be telling me that loan amount has 22 missing values. The reason being, it was before I did this filling that, yeah, so I have to run this again to be able to get that. Are we getting it?
Yes.
Yeah, so let me run this code again. Let me comment it out here. Sorry, Control Z. One. And then let me I copied. Sorry for this. So let's see this. You are looking out for which one? Loan amount. Do you notice what happened?
Loan amount. It has been filled.
So it's
Yes.
telling us
Now
that
zero. No more missing values.
no more missing values because we have filled the space of all those missing values. maybe we should check it out on the data frame itself, data set itself. Loan amount. Where's loan amount? Can you see? Can we see it? Remember this value? I think it was this value that Enin was telling us that, and that can't we just use the mean of this and that? So you see what
Yeah,
it
that's
puts.
one that has NAN.
Yeah, you can see what it puts here. 140. There are other values that we're missing too, but and then at least this is one. So it's saying 146.421. So if you scroll through, you will see how it made its decision. If you calculate this even using calculator, you know that the mean of this is supposed to be around that same value actually, because these are something around 100 and 200, 100 and 400, like that. So we are going to do this for all the numeric value. Do we understand? Then for the other ones too, by tomorrow we should be able to convert those ones. You understand? We'll convert them to sorry, we have to convert those ones to number so that we can be able to work with them as well. So let's do for other numeric values. Now, what I want us to work on. Okay, Ayobami, were you here when we submitted the assignment? Did you? Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, Ayobami and Emmanuel.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking of giving us another one.
It's fine.
So it's just okay to lay your hands on it, and then you get your error, you correct it, and stuff. You browse, because one of the most important things in programming is, of course, check out the work of other people. There is no what's it called? Approach can come from your head, but most of the syntax, their syntax already exists, right? So check
Yes.
out how other people. Now, when we show, you remember when Emmanuel showed us this code? Of course, it was right. When Ayobami showed us this code, it was right. But my own code is even totally different from the two of you too, and that doesn't mean yours are wrong. You understand? It's just interpretation and the logic you choose to use to define your what's it called methods or your functions like that. So I'm just trying to say, just make sure that you check other works, check online,
Okay.
see how they are writing their own if statements, see what it is that we've not been writing that they are writing and stuff. So which other, okay, we have applicants income. Um, Can we see? Let's check for the new ones we did. So they don't have missing values anymore. Applicant
Yes.
income. So we'll do for all of that. You understand? But to be able to do for all these object tables, we have to do
Yes.
something. We have to convert them to what? To number.
Numerical values.
To numerical, yeah. To numerical values, because like it brought error the other time.
Yes.
It told us that we cannot be using we can't use strings. So saying something about strings to do something like that. So there is a function called to numeric. So let me see. Let's try and use it to work. Maybe we should convert that up here and then shift this one downward. Yeah. I'm trying to see if this works. So let me see one column. Which column did you want to use that time? I think maybe gender. Let me see. Trying to get the code for this. I know there's a function called to numeric. So I'll check it. Okay, let me see. We were trying to access gender, right?
Yes.
Gender. Gender. Then the to. Okay, I expected it to bring Intellisense there. Maybe I'm just probably doing something. So I want you to change it and then still put it inside my data set. So that's the reason why I'm doing this kind of assignment I'm doing it. So whatever answer it gets, return it back to the data set, to that particular column. So let's see, let's test with gender. Numeric. I think I'm missing something there. This should be underscore. Okay, so this will go off in another 1 minute. Able to pass string may at position.